Right, so I didn't even know this game existed in the franchise, and that is Life is Strange True Colors. I've gone through the 3 games previous to this, so it's only right that I tackle this platinum next. This franchise as a whole really caught me by surprise, and I loved it way more than I ever thought that I would. So it's going to be sad to play the last game next. So if you do enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're new, as it really does help the channel grow. Let's get into this platinum. A lot of you guys will know that Life is Strange platinum journeys are extremely easy, so there won't be too much to talk about regarding the trophy, so I'll mainly be glossing over the story. So you're currently looking at Alex here. She is an 18-year-old that is leaving the foster system and about to go find a life on her own. The start to her new adventure starts in a little town called Haven, where she meets her older brother Gabe. During this meeting, we do get a quick glimpse of Alex's powers, which is reading emotions, and from the looks of it, her emotions change based on others. One thing I will say on this game is that it is called True Colors, and wow, the game does look amazing. The colors, phenomenal. The first part of the story is Gabe introducing Alex to a bunch of new people around the town that he is friends with and people that we're going to see on this journey. Finally, I get to control Alex and I set my eyes on Steph. This is who we're going to be seeing a lot of throughout this story, as well as meeting Ryan here, who we'll also be spending a lot of time with. While going through the story, we get another example of Alex's powers, but this time the bad side of it. This sort of explaining why, as she was growing up, she was deemed unstable. The collectibles in this game are very similar to the others. This time we use our powers to play a flashback memory. So here is the first one for finding a crack in a wall. Then another one here for finding a letter. Now after looking around my new apartment, I go down and meet more characters to build up the story. One of these characters is Jed, who owns the bar of this town, and I managed to snag myself a new job here on my first day. During my first shift, I get another trophy here for a collectible before ending the day off with a nice sunset with Gabe. However, this didn't last too long, as Ryan jumps into the conversation as Ethan, who is Gabe's girlfriend's son, has gone missing. So what would a Life is Strange game be without a little mystery? And this is where it all begins. While on the hunt to track down Ethan, I get myself 2 more collectibles. Finally getting to Ethan, he is stuck on the other side of this ravine, and we can see that his emotions are really high here as I'm making my way over to him on this sketchy tree. Nonetheless, I do get him and get back to safety, but just as I thought we were getting to safety, an explosion went off, causing a rock fall, and this happened. Oh my god, he actually got smoked in the head by a rock. I thought I could hunt the monster, I think that said. Complete chapter. Oh, this is the end of chapter 1. Oh, what? Yeah, I forgot that these games like to end their episodes with something like that. I feel really invested into that. Oh my god. Well, it looks like we're moving on into the next chapter. We can't be messing around with that. So yeah, Gabe died literally on the day that we arrived into town, and the next episode kicks off at his wake or funeral. I don't really know what it was. It was just kind of a get together. As you can imagine, during this, the emotions were very high and very intense. This led to some suspicions on certain characters though, like Mac here. But this was all getting a bit too much for Alex, so she went upstairs with Steph, and this ended up being a very good bonding experience for them both. With that done, we finally go back downstairs to get to do some exploring. So I took this opportunity now to grab a whole bunch of collectibles. Then I met up with Steph again as the town was setting up this fantasy adventure for Ethan to go on. Then I helped this random guy find his dog for a trophy. This was a little bit different to the previous game's trophy, as I actually had to do a little side quest rather than just a collectible. It's quite nice. And then I helped this woman find a bird that she was looking for another trophy. There was one more collectible to get in chapter 2, and that ticked them all off here before getting back into the story. So a quick rundown on what's going on. There is a company called Typhon that are mining in the mountains, hence the explosion that indirectly killed Gabe. Mac here was the one meant to stop that explosion, but he didn't. We also do later find out that it's not his fault, but we'll get to that. So Alex's mission in this game is trying to get justice for Gabe's death and put Typhon down. With Alex realizing that Typhon is the one to blame and not Mac, she does apologize to him here, and the full story is starting to come together. Alex and Ryan end up having a cute moment at the end of the episode as they reflect on Gabe and what a good guy he was, before the whole town was getting together by sending off this lantern in memory of Gabe. Informing the group now that Typhon is the real one responsible for Gabe's death, we start to build up a plan on how to take them down. Not before I go get a few more trophies though. Then the first step of our plan was speaking to this woman called Diane who works for Typhon. And like the Scooby-Doo crew that we are, we steal this USB stick as it may have some information that we could use to take down Typhon. Remember that fantasy adventure that I mentioned for Ethan? Well, it's time to go through that now. And to be honest, I wasn't really feeling this episode that much. I just didn't like it. It did give us a little boss battle though, which I never thought I would say playing a Life is Strange game, but here we are. The graphics during this were actually quite cool. After this adventure was over, I went to go see Charlotte, who was Gabe's girlfriend, and she was littered with anger. She even admits she was wishing she was dead and that she hates her own son and pretty much blaming him for Gabe's death, which is kind of valid, but you also can't at the same time. After that very horrific conversation, we get back to our apartment and then open up that USB stick. It did have some incriminating evidence that will put Typhon away. This evidence was basically that they were aware that there was a group of people in the mountains and they set off the explosion anyway. Then Alex figured out that they weren't mining that night. They were actually burying something. And that wraps up episode 3. This next chapter is a short one, but my god does it end in absolute disaster. So let's go grab a bunch of collectibles as I was able to free roam here. I gave Steph some flowers and some kind of Riz. And to be honest, this Riz clearly worked since they have a little smooch towards the end of the episode. This joy, however, did not last long as I find myself in a police station being questioned for stealing that USB stick. Basically, Typhon are trying to cover their asses here and I get to make a decision to comply with them or not comply with them and try and take them down. And in fairness here, I just comply as nothing I do will realistically bring Gabe back and Alex has come all the way to Haven to start a new life and have less drama, so we should probably attempt that. This is where things get extremely strange as I have a little conversation with Jed here and it leads to us heading back down to the mountains. I'm gonna let this play out for what happened. Oh, what the fuck? I'm about to die. What? I thought there was another chapter. Are we cooked? The kind of thing you can't undo. Complete chapter 4. Oh my god. I'm cooked. I'm dead. That's it. Game over. Didn't even get the platinum. Yeah, that was literally insane, but I did miss a collectible in this episode, so let's go get that now and wrap up episode 4. So the final episode was a bit weird in my opinion, but it did give a lot of backstory to Alex. Anyways, it starts off with Alex in the same room in which we started the game. She's basically going to go through a bunch of memories and we'll experience them as she does. I get a collectible during this memory in the therapy room. The next memory involves some arguing, but between Gabe and their dad, and it actually ended up with the dad walking out on them. This is where he's never to be seen again. Obviously, another collectible during this memory. The next memory here was in the orphanage, talking to Gabe about all of the things that we went through together during the foster system. And yes, another collectible in this segment. Right, so we're back in the real time now, and Alex is somehow alive after Jed's really bad aim. But those mines I was talking about, I'm now in those. These are the mines that Typhon are trying to cover up, and you're gonna see why. First though, I get another collectible, and it is Alex's mum's necklace. This meaning that Alex's dad died in these tunnels as he was the one wearing it. So this just got a whole lot more personal. Somehow and some way, Alex does manage to get out of the mines, but not only that, make her way all the way back to the town to confront everyone. I will be completely honest here in my opinions. This whole conversation was meant to be a big finale type moment, but something just fell off in the game. I don't know if it was the music, the dialogue, or even the voice acting, but it just didn't hit as hard as it should have, and I was quite disappointed. Long story short with this, Jed used to work in the mines and it was unstable, but he made the call to let some people dying there as they were covering it up. So this led to Typhon coming to Gabe to cover up his story so he could live a normal life and nobody would speak about it. By the end of this conversation, Jed did take the blame as he was riddled with so much guilt he couldn't keep it anymore. After that conversation, I get my final collectible of the game. It didn't feel like there was too many in this game. It was actually quite good. The episode is now coming to its end, and Alex is up on the rooftop talking to Gabe. Obviously not real Gabe, but you know what I mean. She's trying to figure out her future here, and I get the option to choose what I want. I personally made the option to make Alex stay in Haven, as I felt like all her life she has never been settled and never had a real home. But this option just made so much sense to me. She could have friends, have a stable home, and there was some sort of consistency for her. This leads to Alex and Steph being together and performing music locally, and then they both start working at the record shop. So I think I actually got a good ending, unlike my ending in the Life is Strange 2 video, which I messed up completely. So with that, I'm gonna leave the voiceover here with my raw reaction of the story and the platinum trophy. So if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're new, as the channel is doing extremely well by my standards right now. Getting these videos out weekly is a grind, but oh boy, I'm here for it. So I'll see you in the next one. The only promise is the adventure. Let's go complete chapter 5. Here it is, the platinum trophy. Life is Strange True Colors platinum trophy. Here it is. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty decent game, but the worst one I've played so far. I mean, the story didn't have me that invested. It was good, don't get me wrong. There were a few twists, but there were just quite a few dead spots in there, really. Where I feel like the writing wasn't up to par of the other ones. But it was a good game to play. It only took around 6 hours, something like that. I think if you've played the other ones, play this one. It was a bit random, and there's just such a cult following between the other games, and there was no reference to those. I think it was a decent game. The story is pretty good. The art direction of this game was really good. I like that a lot. The game looked really good from start to finish. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this platinum journey. Like I said, it took around 6 hours. For enjoyment, it's probably getting like a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. It was a decent game. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I've got some incredible games coming up next. This platinum journey that I'm on is insane. I've got a whole bunch of games to play. Let's keep them rolling. Let's keep them moving. And I'll see you in the next one.